So he's basically showing how, you know, how the Lord was angry with him because of, because of what happened between him and the people. All right, remember Moses was to do what? He was supposed to speak to the rock and bring forth the water, right? The living water. But yet, he struck the rock, right? You know, and cleaved the rock in two, but water still came out. Okay. But he failed to he refused to hearken unto the instructions of the Lord, and he pretty much he gave in to the people. Okay, he gave in to the people. All right. So that's what happened to Moses, and that's why Moses was not going to see the land either. All right. We know how faithful Moses was. We know what the Lord said about Moses. He said, "Is there a man more faithful in all my house?" The Lord said he talked to Moses face to face. He ain't gonna come to him by dream, by no vision, nor no similitude. He said the Lord said that he would speak to Moses face to face, mano y mano. All right. But the Lord was still angry with his servant, right? And he told him, "Thou shalt not go up hither." That's what he told Moses. "But Joshua the son of Nun, which standeth before thee, he shall go in hither. Encourage him, for he shall cause Israel to inherit." Right? So he's going to cause Israel to inherit their land. All right. So he said, "Moreover, your little ones, which ye said should be a prey, and your children, which in that day had no knowledge between good and evil, they shall go in hither, and unto them will I give it, and they shall possess it." Okay. So remember, this is Moses telling them all of reiterating all of these, all of the history, what I'm saying, to this generation, to this next generation. So the little ones, this is who he's talking to. All right. So no one of the first generation outside of Joshua, Caleb, and Moses right now, all right, you know what I'm saying, is still alive. Okay. But as for you, turn you and take your journey into the wilderness by the way of the Red Sea. All right. Now this is what the first generation said, right? In response to what Moses was telling them about how they weren't going to go in to see the land. "Then ye answered and said unto me, We have sinned against Yahweh. We will go up and fight according to all in which Yahweh our power commands us. And when ye have girded on every man his weapon of war, ye are ready to go up into the hill." So they was ready to go up and fight then. "And the Lord said unto me, Say unto them, Go not up, neither fight, for I am not among you, lest ye be smitten before your enemies. So I spake unto you, and ye would not hear, but rebelled against the commandment of Yahweh, and went presumptuously up into the hill. And the Amorites which dwelt in that mountain came out against you and chased you as bees do, and destroyed you in Seir, even unto Hormah. And ye returned and wept before the Lord, but the Lord would not hearken unto your voice, nor give ear unto you." You see that? So the Lord would not hearken unto them, neither would he hear them. Okay. "So ye abode in Kadesh many days, according unto the days that ye abode there." All right. So that was just the chapter, man, that I wanted to go into, just to kind of show you what transpired, what was being told to this second generation of the children of Israel that will now go in and to receive the land. So you're gonna see Moses. He's pretty much gonna lay down the history to him. All right, in this chapter. Now let's go back to Joshua. Okay, let's go back to Joshua. Joshua chapter 1. So now remember, Moses, the servant of the Lord, is dead now. He's 920 years old. Okay. He made sure that the children of Israel were blessed. All right. That's where you get Deuteronomy chapter 33 from. dealing with the blessings of the tribes. Okay. So now let's read verse 2 again. Now it says, Moses, my servant, is dead. Now therefore arise, go over this Jordan, thou and all this people, unto the land which I do give them, even to that the sole of your foot shall tread upon, that have I given unto you. As I said unto Moses, from the wilderness and this Lebanon, even unto the great river, the river Euphrates, all the land of the Hittites, and unto the great sea towards the going down of the sun, shall be your coast. All right. He says, shall be your coast. There shall not any man be able to stand before thee all the days of thy life. As I was with Moses, so I will be with thee, and I will not fail thee, nor forsake thee. Be strong and of a good courage. Be strong and of good courage, for unto this people shalt thou divide. Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. So he said, be strong and of good courage, for unto this people thou shalt divide for an inheritance the land, which I swear unto their fathers to give them. Only be thou strong and very courageous, that thou mayest observe to do according to all the law which Moses my servant commanded thee. Turn not from it to the right hand or to the left, that thou mayest prosper whithersoever thou goest. All right. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then shalt thou have good success. Okay. So remember, what did it say about the law of the kings, right? In the book of Deuteronomy, it said that they had to basically study, the book of the law. All right. I believe that's in Deuteronomy 17. Deuteronomy chapter 17. And verse 18. Okay. So now it says in Deuteronomy chapter 17 and verse 18. So we'll go there. Let me go there on the screen so everybody can see it. So now it says, and it shall be when he sitteth upon the throne of his kingdom, that he shall write him a copy of this book of this law in a book out of that which is before the priests, the Levites. And it shall be with him, and he shall read therein all the days of his life, that he may learn to fear the Lord his God, to keep all the words of this law and these statutes to do them. All right. It says that his heart be not lifted up above his brethren, and that he turn not aside from the commandment to the right hand or to the left, to the end that he may prolong his days in his kingdom, he and his children in the midst of Israel. All right. So this was the law of the king. All right. So you see that he had to write, right? Basically scribe him a copy of the book of the law. So he had basically to write it himself. And then he was to read it, okay, all the days of his life. So meaning that this king had to read it every single day of their life. All right. It was never to depart from them. All right. So it shows you, just how how leaders have to be. You know what I'm saying? Especially the king, they have to read this law every single day. All right, all the days of their lives, that he may learn to fear the Lord his God and keep all the words of this law and the statutes to do them. All right, that his heart be not lifted up of brother. Okay, and we see what happens when kings didn't read this law. All right, how their hearts did become lifted up above their brother, how they subjugated their own people. You know what I'm saying? To oppression. All right, they were oppressing their own people. They weren't upholding judgment. They were leading their people astray into idolatry. So it just goes to show you, just how well versed in the law the king had to be. All right. So he had to be on his just as much as the priest, the Levites had to be. All right.
Right.
So now going back to Joshua, let's read verse 8 again. Joshua 1 and 8 again. So remember, this is Most High speaking to Joshua. It says, "This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then shalt thou have good success." Okay, so he said he'll have good success. All right, if he does what? If he basically keeps the law, right? He speaks the law, teaches the law, and he meditates upon the law day and night. All right, so if you have problems focusing, this is one of the key scriptures, man, that you need to actually look at and examine for yourself. All right, how he said, "This book of the law shall not depart out of your mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night." All right, let's get another precept real quick for that. So we had Deuteronomy. Let's go to the book of Psalms. I believe it's Psalms 1. Yeah, here we go. Psalms chapter 1. Okay. And let's look at verse 2. Let's examine verse 2. "But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law doeth he meditate day and night." Okay. So, and it said, so there it is. All right. The blessings and the benefits, right, of you basically meditating in the law day and night. All right. It's not something that's hard. It's not something that's difficult to do, but it takes sacrifice and dedication. That means that you have to really sacrifice your mind, okay, your time, all right, and dedicate yourself to really, reading this word.
Right.
And making it
Right.
part, making it till it becomes second nature to you to speak about it. All right.
Right.
Right. People be like, "Why you don't never shut up about that? Why you don't never shut up about that Bible? You always talking about the law." You know what I mean? That's all you talk about. You know what I mean? That's how you know. People when people start saying that, that's how you know you on the right track. That's how you know the law is becoming a part of you. All right. This is becoming a part of you, the very fiber of your being, man. When that's all you can talk about, because that's all you care about. You ain't worried about nothing else. All right. You want to say, "Why you don't talk about nothing else?" Man, say, "Why you can't talk about nothing else?" You know what? Because the Most High is always on my mind.
Okay.
So it says, let's go back to the book of Joshua, chapter 1. Let's read verse 9. "Have I not commanded thee, be strong and of a good courage? Be not afraid, neither be thou dismayed, for the Lord thy God is with thee whithersoever thou goest." So you see, Joshua had to believe this, all right? Joshua had to know for a surety that the Lord was with him at all times. Okay, he couldn't have no doubt. He couldn't be wavering with it. He had to know, all right, that the Lord was with him wherever he went, wherever his foot tread. That's where the Lord would be. It says, then Joshua commanded the officers of the people, saying, it says, pass through the host and command the people, saying, prepare you victuals, for within 3 days ye shall pass over this Jordan, to go in to possess the land which Yahweh your power giveth you to possess it. And to the Reubenites, and to the Gadites, and to half the tribe of Manasseh spake Joshua, saying, remember the word which Moses, the servant of the Lord, commanded you, saying, Yahweh your power hath given you rest, and hath given you this land. Your wives, your little ones, and your cattle shall remain in the land which Moses gave you on this side Jordan. But ye shall pass before your brethren armed and all mighty men of valor, and help them. Okay, so remember back in the book of Numbers, right? We saw that when the children of Israel, right, had came to the borders of Moab, right? You saw that they came into contact with Sihon, who was the king of Heshbon, right? Who basically took the land took portion of the land of Moab from the Moabites and pushed them further south. Okay, so the children of Israel, you know what I mean, just so happened to be, migrating right through that land. Sihon didn't want to let them through, so then you see that the children, Moses basically, got the okay from the Lord, and the Lord said, go smote them. All right. So they also went up against Og, the king of Bashan, okay, who was basically the remnant of the giants, right? So they took him out too. And then that's where you got Reuben, Gad, and Manasseh on I believe it's the east side of the Jordan, right? So they hadn't passed over just yet. So Moses made them promise that, all right, we allow you to settle here on this side of Jordan. You still have to, your mighty men still have to pass over, okay, on this side of Jordan to claim the land. All right. Okay. So now, but that history is interesting too. Let me see. I wanted to get a little bit of that. It's back in the book of Deuteronomy. Let's see. So it's in Deuteronomy chapter 2. Hold on. Yeah, so we'll look at it in Deuteronomy chapter 2. Yeah, Deuteronomy chapter 2 to show you about Sihon. And then Og of Bashan is in chapter 3. All right. So let's get it. So let's go back to Deuteronomy. Let's go hit chapter 2. And drop down to verse 24.
You say 4?
When you
Okay.
Deuteronomy chapter 2 and verse 24.
24, okay. Because you're distorting just a little bit. I don't know if it's just me.
Yeah, sorry about that. Probably a little technical difficulty. But if you guys can hear me, it's so when you go back and you read the chapter, all right, the Lord's basically going to talk about well, Moses, right, through the Spirit of the Lord, he's going to talk about how, you know, how the children of Esau got their inheritance, who they took, who they took, you know what I'm saying, the land or the mountain that they had possessed, who they took it from. The same thing with the Ammonites and the Moabites. All right. So now let's drop down and let's read verse 24. So it says, Deuteronomy chapter 2, verse 24. Rise ye up and take your journey and pass over the river Aron. Behold, I have given into thine hands Sihon, the Amorite, king of Heshbon, and his land, being to possess it and contend with him in battle. All right, and contend with him in battle.
Right there, I was watching a video.
And contend with him in battle. Okay, and he says, this day will I begin to put the dread of thee and the fear of thee upon the nations that are under the whole heaven. Who shall hear report of thee and shall tremble and be anguished because of thee? So he says, I sent messengers out of the wilderness of Kedemoth unto Sihon, king of Heshbon, with these words of peace, saying, let me pass through thy land. I will go along by the highway, and I will neither turn unto the right hand nor to the left. Thou shalt sell me meat for money, that I may eat, and give me water for money, that I may drink. Only I will pass through on my feet. As the children of Esau which dwelt in Seir, and the Moabites which dwelt in Ar. Right, so remember, originally the Moabites didn't dwell just in what you call R or AR, right? It says, they did unto me until I shall pass over Jordan into the land which the Lord our God giveth us. Okay, but Sihon, king of Heshbon, would not let us pass by him, for Yahweh thy power hardened his spirit and made his heart obstinate, that he might deliver him into thy hands, as appeareth this day. And the Lord said unto me, behold, I have begun to give Sihon and his land before thee, began to possess it, that thou mayest inherit his land. Then Sihon came out against us, he and all his people, to fight at Jahaz. And the Lord our God delivered him before us, and we smote him and his sons and all his people. And we took all his cities at that time and utterly destroyed the men and the women and the little ones of every city. We left none to remain. So they exterminated that entire people. Okay. So he says, only the cattle we took for a prey unto ourselves, and the spoil of the city which we took from Aror, which is by the brink of the river Arnon, and from the city that is by the river, even unto Gilad, there was not one city too strong for us. Yahweh our power delivered all unto us. Okay. He said, only unto the land of the children of Ammon, which camest not, thou camest not, nor unto any place of the river Jabbok, nor unto the cities of the mountains, nor unto whatsoever the Lord our God forbade us. All right. So it shows you from this, from this river unto this river, unto the even unto Gilad, right? He says, the Lord basically gave them all that possession. So that's where you get the land of Gilead, okay? And that's where Manasseh, Gad, and Reuben, that was their possession, all right, because they had much cattle. So they basically took over and occupied those lands, okay? So then, so now in chapter 3, all right, you see this is about Og of Bashan, okay? But you guys can go ahead and you could read, you could read this one. It's also found in Numbers chapter 21, as it shows you here. All right, you guys can go and read that for yourself, okay? Because we already read Sihon, so I want to get back to Joshua. So now let's go back here, and let's pick it up at verse 13 again. So it says, remember the word which Moses, the servant of the Lord, commanded you, saying, the Lord your God hath given you rest and hath given you this land. Your wives, your little ones, your cattle shall remain in the land which Moses gave you on this side Jordan. But ye shall pass before your brethren armed, all the mighty men of valor, and help them, until the Lord hath given your brethren rest as he hath given you. And they also have possessed the land which the Lord your God giveth them. Then ye shall return unto the land of your possession and enjoy it, which Moses, the Lord's servant, gave you on this side Jordan towards the sun rising. All right. So the east. And it says, and they answered Joshua, saying, all that thou hast commanded us, we will do, and whithersoever thou sendest us, we will go. According as we hearken unto Moses in all things, so will we hearken unto thee. Only Yahweh thy power be with thee, as he was with Moses. Whosoever he be that doeth rebel against thy commandment, and excuse me, and will not hearken unto thy words in all that thou commandest him, he shall be put to death. Only be strong and of a good courage. So you see, anybody who rebelled against the word of Joshua, it was a wrap. All right, it would be killed. Okay, no questions asked. You couldn't disobey. You couldn't, you know what I'm saying? You couldn't go against a command or an order that was given. All right. So now this is in chapter 2. Let's see. This is Rahab. You guys can read that if you want. Let me see. Hold on one second. Okay. Yeah, so we'll read verse 2. We'll read chapter 2. We'll read a little bit of chapter 2, kind of bounce through chapter 2. You guys can always go back over what we don't finish. All right. And then we'll kind of bounce to chapters 3 and then chapters 4. Okay. So now it says here in Joshua chapter 2 and verse 1. And Joshua the son of Nun sent out of Shittim 2 men to spy secretly, saying, go view the land, even Jericho. And they went and came into an harlot's house named Rahab, and lodged there. And it was told to the king of Jericho, saying, behold, there came men in hither tonight of the children of Israel to search out the country. And the king of Jericho sent unto Rahab, saying, bring forth the men that are come to thee, which are entered into thine house, for they be come to search out all the country. And the woman took the 2 men and hid them, and said thus, there came men unto me, but I wist not whence they were. And it came to pass about the time of shutting of the gates, when it was dark, then the men went out, whither the men went, I wist not. Pursue after them quickly, for ye shall overtake them. But she brought them up to the roof of the house and hid them with the stalks of flax, which she had laid in order upon the roof. So they was hiding out on the roof. Okay. It says, and the men pursued after them the way of Jordan unto the fords. As soon as they which pursued after them were gone, they shut the gate. And before they were laid down, she came up unto them upon the roof. And she said unto the men, I know that the Lord hath given you the land, and that your terror is fallen upon us, and that all the inhabitants of the land faint because of you. Well, remember, did not the Lord say that that was going to happen, right? That he was going to send the terror of our people, before them. So everybody was hearing, all of the nations of the land of Canaan were hearing the rumors about the children of Israel, right? So it says, for we have heard how the Lord dried up the waters of the Red Sea for you when ye came out of Egypt, and when ye did what ye did unto the two kings of the Amorites, that were on the other side of Jordan, Jordan, Sihon and Og, whom ye utterly destroyed. And as soon as we had heard these things, our hearts did melt. Neither did there remain any more courage in any man because of you. For Yahweh your power, he is power in heaven above and in earth beneath. Now therefore I pray you, swear unto me by Yahweh, since I have showed you kindness, that ye will also show kindness unto my father's house, and give me a true token, and that ye will save alive my father, my mother, and my brethren, and my sister, and all that they have, and deliver our lives from death. And the men answered her, our lives for yours, if ye utter not this our business. And it shall be, when Yahweh hath given us the land, that we will deal kindly and truly with thee. All right. Then she let them down by a cord through the window, for her house was upon the town wall, and she dwelt upon the wall. So she had a house that was like, basically she lived on the side of the wall. All right. So she was able to let them out. And she said unto them, get you to the mountains, lest the pursuers meet you, and hide yourselves there 3 days until the pursuers be returned, and afterward ye may go your way. All right. So she told them 3 days. Okay, go hide into the mountains until your pursuers, right, come back. And the men said unto her, we will be blameless of this thine oath, which thou hast made us swear. Behold, when we come into the land, thou shalt bind this line of scarlet thread in the window which thou didst let us down by. And thou shalt bring thy father and thy mother and thy brother and all thy father's household home unto thee. And it shall be that whosoever shall go out of the door of thy house into the street, his blood shall be upon his head, and we will be guiltless, and whosoever shall be with thee in thy house, his blood shall be on our head, if any hand be upon him. All right. So this is just the oath. This was the oath that they were basically making to Rahab. All right, the harlot. Okay. So now let's jump over to chapter 4. All right. And you'll read about you'll read some interesting things about Rahab and stuff like that. She believes she's also mentioned in the New Testament, right? She had basically let me get it real quick. In the book of Matthew. Let's see. Hold on 1 second. Let me see. So it's basically in verse 5. In Matthew chapter 1 and verse 5. It says, and Salmon begat Boaz of Rechab, and Boaz begat Obed of Ruth, and Obed begat Jesse. Hold on 1 second, everyone. Son, no. Nope. Okay, sorry about that. So now, yeah, so that's just a part of it. So it shows you that she possibly married into, you know what I'm saying, you know, into the line of Judah. All right. So let's go to let's look at chapter 3. Hold on 1 second. Chapter 3. Okay, so now it says, and Joshua rose early in the morning, and they removed from Shittim and came to Jordan, he and all the children of Israel, and lodged there before they passed over. And it came to pass after 3 days that the officers went through the host, and they commanded the people, saying, when ye see the ark of the covenant of Yahweh your power, and the priests, the Levites, bearing it, ye shall be removed from your place and go after it. And there shall be a space between you and it, about 2,000 cubits by measure. Come not near unto it, that ye may know that ye may know the way by which ye must go. For ye have not passed this way heretofore. And Joshua said unto the people, sanctify yourselves, for tomorrow Yahweh will do wonders among you. And Joshua spake unto the priests, saying, take up the ark of the covenant and pass over before the people. And they took up the ark of the covenant and went before the people. And Yahweh said unto Joshua, this day will I begin to magnify thee in the sight of all Israel, and that they may know that as I was with Moses, so I will be with thee. And thou shalt command the priests that bear the ark of the covenant, saying, when ye are come to the brink of the water of Jordan, ye shall stand still in Jordan. And Joshua said unto the children of Israel, come hither and hear the words of Yahweh your power. And Joshua said, hereby ye shall know that the living power is among you, and that he will without fail drive out from before you the Canaanites, the Hittites, and the Hivites, the Perizzites, the Girgashites, and the Amorites, and the Jebusites. Behold, the ark of the covenant of the Lord of all the earth passed before passeth over before you into Jordan. So now they're going into the Jordan. Okay. And it says, and it shall come pass as soon as the soles of soles of the feet of the priests that bear the ark of Yahweh, the Lord of the earth, shall rest in the waters of Jordan, that the waters of Jordan shall be cut off from the waters that come down from above, and they shall stand upon a heap. And it came to pass when the people removed from their tents to pass over Jordan, the priest bearing the ark of the covenant before the people. And as they that bear the ark were come unto Jordan, that the feet of the priests that bear the ark were dipped in the brim of the water, for Jordan overfloweth all his banks all the time of the harvest. So it was like a flood, all right? It says that the waters which came down from above stood and rose up upon a heap very far from the city Adam, that is beside Zetarin. And those that came down towards the sea of the plains, even the salt sea, fell and were cut off, and the people passed over right against Jericho. So basically, as it's going to show you here, and the priests that bear the ark of the covenant of Yahweh stood firm on dry ground in the midst of Jordan, and all the Israelites passed over on dry ground until all the people were passed clean over Jordan. So it goes to show you that right there, man. You know, just basically held still the flood, right? He held still the floods of the River Jordan, okay? Because at this time it was like basically like flooding, and then the people were able to walk clear on dry ground. They were able to walk across dry ground. You know what I mean? Across the River Jordan into the land, you know what I'm saying, into the promised land. All right. So this time shows you that they were no longer going to be in the wilderness. And now that the saints are going to do what? They're going to take they're going to take the kingdom.
Yes.
Okay. They're going to take the kingdom.
Here.
Go to the book of Psalms, Psalms chapter 50. Psalms chapter 50. And we're going to start at verse 1. So Psalms chapter 50 and verse 1, a psalm of Asaph. The mighty God, even Yahweh, hath spoken, and called the earth from the rising of the sun, even unto the going down thereof. Out of Zion, the perfection of beauty, God hath shined. Our God shall come, and shall not keep silent. A fire shall devour before him, and it shall be very tempestuous around about him. He shall call to the heavens from above, and to the earth, that he may judge his people. Gather my saints unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. And the heavens shall declare his righteousness, for God is the judge himself, Selah. Hear, O my people, and I will speak. O Israel, and I will testify against thee. I am God, even thy God. So he said, I am God, even your God. Okay. So as he said, gather my saints unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. All right. So I just wanted us to read that. Just wanted to read that. Bless you. All right. Now let's go back to Joshua. Joshua chapter 4. Hold on, it's another one I wanted to get to. It's in the book of Daniel, I think. Hold on one second. Book of Daniel. Yeah, the book of Daniel, chapter 7. And we'll start at verse 18. All right. So it says here, but the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom. So this is in Daniel chapter 7, verse 18. He says, but the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. All right. So he said, the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom. So just as you see now with, Joshua, right, and the children of Israel going into the land of Canaan, okay, they're going to take, they're going to take their kingdom, all right? They're going to take this land, right, and possess this land, and this land is going to become their, it's going to become their land. This is going to be where they establish their kingdom, all right? So, just like even now, we're going to be doing the same thing. All right. When Yahushai, returns, man, he sets everything in order. You know what I mean? He's going to subdue all of these nations, and all of these nations are going to be subject unto him. All right. And basically that's when we're going to be given our kingdom. Okay. So remember, we still gonna take the kingdom by force, because that land, the land of Israel, it still has to be purged. These nations still gonna try to put up a fight, just like it shows you in Second Ezra, I believe, Second Ezra chapter 13. He shows you that these nations still gonna put up a fight. They still gonna try to fight Christ. They still gonna try to fight the holy people. All right, but we shall prevail. Okay, just as our fathers prevailed when they took the land of Canaan. So now going back to Joshua, right? So you guys can read, continue reading in Joshua. I just wanted to get some more points out of it, some more key events out of the book of Joshua. Right? Let's see. It's Gilgal. Gosh. That's Accor. Hold on 1 second. Okay, so we'll go to, let's read chapters 10. Let's go to chapters 10 now. Let's go to chapters 10. So Joshua chapter 10. So we're gonna just kind of skip over a little bit. So remember chapter 7, that's dealing with, remember the Israel defeated AI. All right. AI was basically, they were like they were a weak people, right? But they were able to beat the children of Israel because of the transgression. The transgression, you know what I'm saying? The transgression of the accursed thing that was basically upon Israel. So there was uncleanness in the midst of the camp. So remember, after the destruction of Jericho, right, you had Achan, who basically took of the accursed thing, right? So I believe he took a wedge of gold, he took some silver, he took a Babylonian garment, right? And he hid it under his tent. And the Lord said they were not to take anything from that city. It was all to be destroyed. So Achan took this, so he covered it after this, right? And he ended up causing Israel to become unclean in the eyes of the Lord. The Lord was no longer amongst them. And Israel went up to fight against the men of AI, right? And they basically got chased off. They were smoked before this people. They got chased off. And Joshua was trying to figure out, well, what happened? What happened? You know, then the Lord told Joshua, there's an accursed thing. Somebody has trespassed. So they ended up finding out that it was Achan of the house of Judah. All right. And he ended up basically being destroyed. Okay. Him and his whole family ended up basically being exterminated because of, of the accursed thing that was amongst them. All right. You can read chapter 7 and get the full detail for yourself, of his sin and of his transgression. Right. So I just wanted to look at verse 21 just to kind of point it out exactly what he had took. So he says, when I saw, this is in Joshua chapter 7, verse 21. He says, when I saw among the spoils a goodly Babylonish garment and 200 shekels of silver and a wedge of gold, 50 shekels weight, then I coveted them and I took them, and behold, they are hid in the earth in the midst of my tent, and the silver under it. You see that? So then, as you can see, they went to his tent. They went and got it. All right. So this man troubled, Israel, and many men got put to death because this man coveted after 200 shekels of silver, 50 shekels of gold, and a Babylonish garment. A Babylonish garment. See that? A garment. And men lost their lives. You see that? So everything that he had was now accursed. So all of what Achan had to go. So that's why he was known as the troubler. All right. Achan the troubler. And where they killed him, they named the valley after him. All right. And as you can see it right here, and they brought him onto the Valley of Accor. Okay. So it says here in verse 26, and they raised over him a great heap of stones until this day. So Yahweh turned from his fierceness, the fierceness of his anger, wherefore the name of that place was called the Valley of Accor unto this day. So where everything, all his possessions and his family and all that was basically laid, they made a monument of it. All right. They made a monument of it. So at the end of that, they ended up defeating AI anyway after the accursed thing was found. All right. Most time was back on their side. Right. So then, let's see. In chapter 9, you had the Gibeonites. Okay. So they didn't want to be destroyed with the rest of the inhabitants. So they basically deceived Joshua and the rest of the children of Israel, right, into them thinking that they were another people from another land. And Joshua made an oath with them that they wouldn't be destroyed. Then Joshua, basically, after they found out that they were of the inhabitants of the land, Joshua said, y'all going to be the hewers of our wood and the drawers of our water, right, for the rest of your days. Okay. And remember, this is where, this is where Saul had his kingdom. I mean, his base where, the kingdom was centered in the land of Benjamin. Gibeah is in Benjamin. Gibeah is in the land of Benjamin. Okay. So now we'll go to chapter 10. Like I said, these chapters you guys can go back over and read them for yourself. Okay. So I wanted to get to chapter 10. All right, chapters 10. And then I'm gonna skip over to some more chapters to just to kind of show, how to show how the conquest of Canaan actually went. So now it says, now it came to pass when Adonizedek, king of Jerusalem, had heard how Joshua had taken Ai and had utterly destroyed it, as he had done to Jericho and to her king, so had he done to Ai and her king, and how the inhabitants of Gibeon had made peace with Israel and were among them, that they feared greatly, because Gibeon was a great city, as one of the royal cities, and because it was greater than Ai, and all the men thereof were mighty. Right, so the men of Gibeah, they were warriors. All right, they were warrior people. All right, Canaanite people. So so as they showed you, man, that this was a very powerful city, right, that joined forces with Israel, right? So then it says, wherefore Adonizedek, king of Jerusalem, sent unto Hoham, king of Hebron. So remember, Hebron basically became a royal city of Judah. It says, unto Piram, the king of Jermoth, and unto Jephah, the king of Lachish, and unto Debrai, king of Elam, saying, come up with me and help me, that we may smite Gibeon, for it hath made peace with Joshua and with the children of Israel. Therefore the 5 kings of the Amorites, and the king of Jerusalem, the king of Hebron, the king of Jarmuth, the king of Lachish, the king of Eglon, gathered themselves together and went up, they and all their host, and encamped before Gibeon, and made war against it. So they like, this is a treacherous move. So they like, man, we're gonna go up and destroy this place. And it says, and the men of Gibeon sent unto Joshua to the camp to Gilgal, saying, slack not in thy hand from thy servant, come up to us quickly and save us and help us, for all the kings of the Amorites that dwell in the mountains are gathered together against us. So Joshua ascended from Gilgal, he and all the people of war with him, and the mighty men of valor. And the Lord said unto Joshua, fear them not, for I have delivered them into thy hand. There shall not a man of them stand before thee. And Joshua therefore came unto them suddenly, and went up to Gilgal all night. And the Lord discomfited them before Israel, and slew them with a great slaughter at Gibeon, and chased them along the way that goeth to Beth Horon, and smote them to Azekah, and unto Mekada. And it came to pass, as they fled from before Israel, and were going down to Beth Horon, that the Lord cast down great stones from heaven upon them unto Azekah, and they died. So you see, even the Lord intervened, man, and he started casting down stones from heaven, right? So that they died. Like he said, hailstones. And there were more that died with hailstones than they whom the children of Israel slew with the sword, right? So remember, like the scriptures say, the slain of the Lord shall be many. Okay. So he says, then spake Joshua to the Lord in the day when the Lord delivered up the Amorites before the children of Israel. And he said in the sight of Israel, sun, stand thou still upon Gibeah, and thou moon, in the valley of Ajalon. Okay. And the sun stood still and the moon stayed until the people had avenged themselves upon their enemies. Is not this written in the book of Jasher? The sun stood still in the midst of heaven and hastened not to go down about a whole day. And there was no day like that before it or after it, that the Lord hearkened unto the voice of a man, for the Lord fought for Israel. And Joshua returned, and all Israel with him unto the camp to Gilgal. All right. So it shows you about the 5 kings. Gonna show you here about the 5 kings that are basically going to flee. All right. And basically how he, you know, and how they're going to deal with those 5 kings. But you guys can go ahead and read about that. All right. You guys can go and read the rest of that. And let's jump to chapter 11. Chapter 11. Actually, chapter 12. Wait a minute. Okay, yeah. We'll do chapter 11, and then we'll do chapter 12. So it shows us here, right, how they basically took the northern territories over, okay? Now it says, and it came to pass when Jabin, king of Hezron, had heard those things, that he had sent to Joab, king of Madon, and to the king of Shimron, and to the king of Aksa. It says, and to the kings that were in the north of the mountains and the plains south of Cimaroth, and in the valley, and in the borders of Dor on the west, and to the Canaanites on the east and on the west, and to the Amorites, and to the Hittites, and to the Perizzites, and to the Jebusites in the mountains, and to the Hivites under Harmon in the land of Mizpah. And they went out, they and all their hosts with them, much people, even as the sand that is upon the seashore, in a multitude with horses and chariots, very many. Right, so they came out. They came out. They bring in their full forces. Okay, full forces. And when all these kings were met together, they came and pitched together at the waters of Merom to fight against Israel. So they were all together, their whole host. And the Lord said unto Joshua, be not afraid because of them. For tomorrow about this time I will deliver them up all slain before Israel. Thou shalt hew their horses and burn their chariots with fire. You see that? So the Lord, he's already saying, he's already guaranteeing how they're going to do what, how they're going to be delivered into their hands. All right. So Joshua came and all the people of war with him against them by the waters of Merom suddenly, and they fell upon them. And the Lord delivered them into the hand of Israel, whom smote them and chased them unto great Zidon and unto Misrethim Mayim, and unto the valley of Mizpah eastward, and they smote them until they left them none remaining. You see that? He said they were as the sands of the sea, so they had to be above 20,000 or more, right? 20,000 or more, okay? And he said there was not one that was left, all right? So just look at this. Even when you look at how our forefathers moved, when we read in the Maccabees, right? How it would be 5,000 Israelite soldiers, right? Versus 20,000 Greek soldiers, or 10,000 Israelite soldiers versus 60,000, Greek and Gentile soldiers. And the Most High would deliver those nations into our hands, right? you'd be like, that's impossible. You know what I mean? Strategically impossible, right? But nothing's impossible with the Heavenly Father. Nothing's impossible with him. All right. It doesn't matter how many the nations will bring before us. The Lord has the final say. When he says what? He says that I'm going to deliver them into your hand. All you best to do is believe that he's going to deliver them. All right. And he'll do the rest. That's it. All right. So remember that. Always remember that, son. Always. No matter what. You can see a host before you as the sands of the sea. If the Lord said he going to deliver them into your hands, he going to make sure he deliver them into your hands. All you got to do is go forth and do as the Lord bid you to do. So it says, and Joshua did unto them as the Lord had bid him, and he hewed their horses and burnt their chariots with fire. So Joshua at that time turned back and took Hazor and smote the king thereof with the sword. For Hazor before time was the head of all those kingdoms. So he was the head of the snake, right? So you chop off the head of the snake, what happens to the rest of the body? It's gonna die. You see what I'm saying? It may move for a little bit, right? But without the head, it can't do anything. It can't bite. All right. Can't do nothing. It's harmless now. All right. So he was the head king. So he took out the head king. Okay. It says, and they smote all the souls that were therein with the edge of the sword and utterly destroyed them. There was not any left to breathe. And he burnt Hazor with fire. I don't know if y'all get chills, but I'll get chills when I read this. Because this is the Lord's work at its finest, man. So he says, and all the cities of those kings and all the kings of them did Joshua take and smote them with the edge of the sword, and he utterly destroyed them as Moses, the servant of the Lord, commanded. But as for those cities that stood still in their strength, Israel burned none of them, save Hazor only. That did Joshua burn, because it was the head city. All right. You destroy the strongest, right? And guess what? All everybody else is gonna do is just can't do nothing against them. So it says, as the Lord commanded Moses his servant, so did Moses command Joshua. Hold on one second. Yeah, one second. All right, shalom, everybody. Sorry about that. So, okay. So it says, let me see where I was at. All right, verse 16. So Joshua took all that land and the hills and all the south country and all the land of Goshen and the valley and the plain and the mountain of Israel and the valley of the same, even from the Mount Halak that goeth up to Seir, even to Baal Gad in the valley of Lebanon under Mount Hermon. All right, that's also a key location too. All right, that we'll learn about later on. All right, and it says, and all their kings he took and smote them and slew them. Joshua made war a long time with all those kings. There was not a city that made peace with the children of Israel, save the Hivites that inhabited Gibeon. All others they took in battle. So no one else that made peace with them, except those the Gibeonites, right? And it says the rest of the kings they took in battle. All right. So you'll see that. So you'll see that there were over like 31 kings that they basically had took out, that the Israelites took out. Okay, that they basically took out. So let's jump to chapter 12. Let's get the list of those kings. Okay, let's get the list of those kings. All right. So these are all the kings that were defeated. Okay. So let's see. We'll start here, chapter 12 and verse 29. So now it says, yeah, we'll start at verse 9. So it says in Joshua chapter 12, verse 9, the king of Jericho won, the king of Ai, which is beside Bethel, won. The king of Jerusalem won, the king of Hebron won, the king of Jeremoth won, the king of Lachish won, the king of Eglon won, the king of Gizar won, the king of Debri won, the king of Geder won, the king of Hormoth won, the king of Rad won, the king of Lebna won, the king of Abdullam won, the king of Makkadah won, the king of Bethel won, the king of Tapua won, the king of Hefer won, the king of Apec won, the king of Lesharon won, the king of Madon won, the king of Hazar won, the king of Cimarron won, the king of Aksaph won, the king of Tanakh won, the king of Medigo won, the king of Kadesh won, the king of Konim of Carmel won, the king of Dor in the coast of Dor won, the king of the nations of Gilgal won. The king of Tizri won, all kings, 31 kings. So 31 kings, 31 of these powerful kings, you see that our fathers, the children of Israel, right, they took down, okay? They took all of these kings down, okay? So this is a list. Yeah. Yes.
I'm sorry. So what does it mean when it just say one after all? What does that mean?
It's just showing you just that's the king.
Okay, because okay, I was just wondering if one meant something.
Yeah, no, it's just one. Like it's just showing you King of Jericho, that's number one. Then Bethel, that's that's one, but that's two. Then King of Jerusalem.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, so
he's
just named. Okay, he's numbering them, but he only said one.
Yeah,
okay. Thank you.
No problem. Yeah. So that's why towards the end it says all the kings 30 and 1. So just it's 31 kings that's basically taken out.
So it's kind of like he's going along saying, and this one, and this one, and this one, and this one, and this one.
Yeah. Exactly. So they took out all of these kings. All right. This is how our fathers basically inherited the land. This is how they got the land, man. It wasn't by peace. You know what I mean? It was through violence and war and bloodshed. You know, that's how we were able to take the land. Okay, that's how we were able to show the inhabitants of, bring forth the judgment upon the inhabitants of the land. All right, because remember, back in the book of Genesis, right? Let's kind of backtrack a little bit. Chapter 15, and we're going to get verse 16. Yes. No. Chapter 15, and we're going to get verse 16. So this was the prophecy that was shown to Abraham about his descendants and the judgment that will come upon, come upon the nation. All right. Basically Egypt. And then it says, and then he shows him how Abraham is going to basically die in peace, right, at a good old age. And then it says in verse 16 in Genesis chapter 15, he says, but in the fourth generation shall they come hither again, right, meaning Abraham's descendants. He says, for the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full. Okay. So he said the iniquity of the Amorites. All right. So it ain't came into full circle yet. Okay. So that's why when the children of Israel were basically groomed, right, as that nation that was going to destroy the Amorites. All right. Destroy the vast majority of the inhabitants of the land. Okay, so all the kings, they had their judgments coming, man. So all of the wickedness they was doing, all of the evil. You can go back to what is it, to the book of Leviticus chapter, read chapters 18, and it shows you all of the things that the Lord, basically found disgusting. All right, from incest, idol worship, homosexuality, adultery, all of that. Right, child molestation, all those things that the Lord seen was evil to him, right? That's what the inhabitants of this land was doing, and that's why their blood had to be shed. Okay, that's why they had to be destroyed. All right, so their judgment was our ancestors. All right, the children of Israel. Okay, so that's why they had to be taken over. All right, by the land had to be taken over. All right, can you hear me now? All right, so the land had to be taken over. All right, so that's the that's the beautiful thing, that's the powerful thing about it. Okay, so now let's see, let's go to chapter 13. All right, so now it says, now Joshua was old and stricken in years, and the Lord said unto him, thou art old and stricken in years, and there remaineth yet very much land to be possessed. This is the land that remaineth, all the borders of the Philistines and all of Geshuri, from Shuram, Sihor, which is before Egypt, even unto the borders of Akron northward, which is counted to the Canaanite. 5 lords of the Philistines, the Gezerithites, and the Ashdodites, the Ashkelonites, and the Gittithites, and the Akronites, also the Avites. From the south, all the land of the Canaanites and Merah, that is besides the Sidonians and Aphek, to the borders of the Amorites. So this is all the land, or the territories that had not been taken as of yet. All right, there's still much land to be taken. Okay, so they had sown pretty much, much of the north, right? But they still had a lot of the south to also to take over too. And all the land of the Gilbalites, and all Lebanon towards the rising, from Baal Gad under Mount Hermon unto the entering into Hamath, which is like Syria. Hamath is Syria. It says all the inhabitants of the hill country from Lebanon unto Misar Roth Marim, and all the Zidonians. Them will I drive out before the children of Israel, only divide thou it by lot unto the Israelites for an inheritance, as I have commanded thee. Now therefore divide this land for an inheritance unto the 9 tribes, and half the tribe of Manasseh, with whom the Reubenites and the Gadites have received their inheritance, which Moses gave them beyond Jordan eastward, even as Moses the servant of the Lord gave them. From Arnor, from can't pronounce it right now. That is upon the brink of the river Aran, and the city that is in the midst of the river, and all the plains of Medeba unto Dibnah, and all the cities of Sihon, king of the Amorites, which reigneth in Heshbon, unto the borders of the children of Ammon, and Gilead, and the borders of the Geshurites, and the Mecharathites, and all Mount Hermon, and all Bashan unto Salcah, all the kingdom of Og Bashan, which reigneth in Ashtaroth, and in Edrei, who remained of the remnant of the giants, for these did Moses smite and cast them out. Nevertheless, the children of Israel expelled not the Geshurites, nor the Machatherites, but the Geshurites and the Machatherites dwelled among the Israelites until this day. Only the tribe of Levi he gave none inheritance. The sacrifices of Yahweh, God of Israel, made by fire are their inheritance, as he said unto them. And Moses gave unto the tribe of the children of Reuben inheritance according to their families, and their coasts are from Arnor, that is on the bank of the river Arnon, and the city that is in the midst of the river, and all the plains of Medeba, Heshbon and all her cities, and are in the plains, Dibon and Bameth Baal, and Beth Baal, Milan, Jahaza, and Kedemoth, and Mithmaath, and Kirjitharim, and Sibmah, and Zorith Shara in the mount of the valley, and Beth Peor, and Adash Pigash, and Beth Jamishmath, and all the cities of the plain, and all the kingdom of Sihon, king of the Amorites, which reigned in Heshbon, whom Moses smote with the princes of Midian, Evi, and Rakim, Shur, Hur, and Ribah, which were dukes of Sihon, dwelling in the country. Balaam also, the son of Peor, the soothsayer, did the children of Israel slay with the sword among them that were slain by them. So you see what happened to Balaam after he had tried to curse the children of Israel. Guess what? For his wicked advice and him disobeying the Most High, he was even killed. He was killed. And the borders of the children of Reuben was Jordan, and the border thereof. This was the inheritance of the children of Reuben after their families, and the cities and the villages thereof. And Moses gave the inheritance to the tribe of Gad, even unto their children, the children of Gad according to their families. And their coast was Jahaz, and all the cities of Gilead, half the land of the children of Ammon, unto Aror, that is before Rebah, and from Heshbon unto Ramath Mizpah, and to Batamim, and from Mananim unto the border of Debris, and the valley of Betharim, and Beth Nimrah, and Succoth, and Zephon, and the rest of the kingdom of Sihon, king of Heshbon, Jordan and his borders, even unto the edge of the sea of Simarith on the other side, Jordan eastward. This is the inheritance of the children of Gad after their families, their cities, and their villages. And Moses gave inheritance unto half the tribe of Manasseh. This was the possession of half the tribe of Manasseh, the children of Manasseh by their families. All right. So basically, he's going to go into more so going into all of the, all of their territories. All right. You guys can read about that too, also on your own. So let me pull up a map real quick. I'm gonna pull up this. Hold on. Let me pull up this other scripture about Joshua in the Apocrypha real quick. Hold on 1 second. So you can go to the Apocrypha. Here we go. So Ecclesiasticus, as you can see on the screen, Ecclesiasticus chapter 46. And we'll start at verse 1. If you don't have your Apocrypha, you can follow here on the screen. Okay. Now it says, Jesus, the son of Nave, was valiant in the wars, and was the successor of Moses in prophecies, who according to his name was made great for the saving of the elect of God, and taking vengeance of the enemies that rose up against them, that he might set Israel in their inheritance. All right. So remember, Joshua's name, Joshua basically was called Jehoshua, right, which would be Yahushai, all right, in the ancient Paleo, okay, which basically means, Yahweh is salvation, okay, Yahweh is salvation, all right. So so it's showing you that the Lord is our salvation, okay. So so he was basically his purpose, right, was to basically, give the elect their inheritance, right? Our people to set the people in their inheritance, take vengeance upon the stranger, right, and save our people, all right, through the many battles in which they fought, right, against the enemy, okay. It says how great glory he gat he when he did lift up his hands and stretch out his sword against the cities, who before him stood to it. For the Lord himself brought his enemies unto him. Did not the sun go back by his means, and was not one day as long as two? He called upon the Most High Lord, and when the enemy pressed upon him on every side, and the great Lord heard him, and the hailstones of a mighty power had made the battle to fall violently upon the nations, and in the descent of Beth Horon he destroyed them that resisted, that the nations might know all their strength, because he fought in the sight of the Lord, and he followed the mighty one. In the time of Moses also he did a work of mercy, he and Caleb the son of Jephunneh, in that they withstood the congregation and withheld the people from sin, and appeased the wicked murmuring. And of the 600,000 people on foot, they too were preserved to bring them into the heritage, even unto the land that floweth with milk and honey. The Lord gave strength also to Caleb, which remained with him unto his old age, so that he entered upon the high places of the land, and his seed obtained it for a heritage, that all the children of Israel might see that it is good to follow the Lord. And concerning the judges, every one by name, whose heart went not a whoring, nor departed from the Lord, let their memory be blessed. Let their bones flourish out of their place, and let the name of them that be honored be continued upon their children. All right. So then he goes to Samuel the prophet. Okay, but I just wanted to read that about Joshua, the son of Nun. Okay, so Joshua was, he was that dude, man. He was a heck of a warrior.
Right.
So remember when he left Egypt, he was 40 years old, either 40 or 45 years old, right? And then as they wandered in the wilderness, right, for 40 years,
Spaghetti.
he was 80 years old when they went into the promised land, or 85 years old when he went into the promised land. Check that out. He was 85 years old. Moses was in his hundreds. I think Moses died at 120 years old. When they left Egypt, Moses was like 80, 84. 80, I think he was 80 years old. Yeah, because Aaron was 84, so he was 4 years older than his brother. So Moses was 80, Joshua was 40 years old. All right. And I think Caleb had to be either in his 20s, his early 20s, or like his late 30s. All right. So you see Joshua was was in his 80s as he was going out to battle, right, with these kings and conquering these kings before the people. Okay. So remember, 80s, being in your 80s back then was probably a heck of a lot different than being in your 80s now. All right. So Joshua, he even said, man, he's like, I'm 85 this 80 some years old this day, and I can still go out and still come in. So he said, I can still go out to battle, and I can still come from a battle. All right. So that goes to show you, man, that you're never too old. Ain't never too old to chop some heads. All right. That was Joshua, the son of Nun. Okay. I loved it. I love that one. And then it also shows you, also as you continue to read, you'll see that he had an encounter with an angel, right? Yes. He did have an encounter with an angel. Hold on. And that's in the book of Joshua chapter 5, right? Joshua chapter 5. So this was like a little bit after Passover, okay? Joshua chapter 5, and I'm going to read verse 12. I'm going to start at verse 12. Now it says, and the manna ceased on the morrow after they had eaten of the old corn of the land. Neither had the children of Israel manna any more, but they did eat of the fruit of the land of Canaan that year. So they were no longer receiving manna after that. Right? They began to eat of the fruit of the land of Canaan. And it came to pass when Joshua was by Jericho that he lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, there stood a man over against him with his sword drawn in his hand. So he looked over and he saw a man standing, over against him with his sword drawn. And Joshua went unto him and said unto him, art thou for us or for our adversaries? So he's like, are you with us or are you with them? Right? Are you our ally or are you our enemy? Right? So that's why I said he went unto him. So he so you see Josh, it showed you that Joshua wasn't scared either. All right. So he said he went over to this, to this man that had his sword drawn. And he said, nay, but as a captain of the host of the Lord, I am now come. And Joshua fell on his face to the earth and did worship and said unto him, what saith my Lord unto his servant? And the captain of the Lord's host said unto Joshua, loose thy shoe from off thy foot, for the place whereon thou standest is holy. And Joshua did so. All right. So he sat there and met with the captain of the Lord's host. All right. So obviously they must have had some sort of conversation. Okay, they had some sort of conversation. All right. So this is just in the book of Joshua. Now, when you finish reading in the later chapters of Joshua, you're basically going to just see the land being divided, to them, the territories, which that is very important for you to understand, because when you start looking up the maps of the conquest of Canaan. So these are just some maps. You can kind of just look up. Oh, this is for the judges. That's we'll go into that next. The judges. I just wanted to get some of the allotted land for Israel. So remember some of the names in which we read, right? As you can see, this is like the pattern in which, or the route in which they took. Okay. So Abel Shittim, that's where they were located, right? So then you see they hit Gilgal, that's where also they were encamped. Then you see they hit Jericho. Then the next city that they hit was Ai, right? Then they hit Bethel. Then remember they made peace with the inhabitants of Gibeon, right? So then they had hit a lot of these territories. All right. So remember we saw that they hit Ajalon, all right. We see what is this, Azaka. They hit Lebanon. See they hit Lachish, Eglon, Hebron, right? Now you're getting into the territories of Judah, right? All the way to Debris, right? This is like where they were. This is where they were going to fight. Okay, the inhabitants. So remember, then they still smote the king of Abdullam, right? Beth Huzar. They had Peor, right? Many of these kings they smote. They had smote. Many of them, Gazar, right? And then remember, they had hit many of these kings to the north, just as it's showing here, right? Aksafa, right? They right here near Mount Carmel. They hit Dor, okay. All of these, Asfek, all right. They hit all of these territories. So remember, this was the land of Gilead, right? Which half a tribe of Manasseh had occupied, right? The tribe of Gad and also the tribe of Reuben. Okay. This is what they had, and this is what they had basically inhabited. All right. So remember, all the way to Kidimoth, Jahaz, Medibah, Bazar, Heshbon, right? So these are all the cities in which they inhabited. Remember, these are the mountains. All right, these are the mountainous regions, right? So they were all the way up here. Okay. So that's just one map. Let me see. What's another good one? It's a lot of maps. You guys can check them out. You guys can check them out for yourself. Or if you have a Bible atlas, you know, make sure you go into your Bible atlas, and it'll give you an even better. It'll give you even better, you know, outline of the conquest of Canaan. Okay. Land allotted to the children of Israel. I say Atlanta. Notice the map is not too clear. Hold on. See if I can get a good one. Okay, here we go. So this is a good map just to show you the areas in which they inhabited. Okay. So you see, as you continue reading in the book of Joshua, you'll see all of the cities which the tribe of Asher inhabited. Okay. So this was their territory. All right. Then you see this is where the tribe of Zebulun inhabited. Okay. The cities in which they had. So this is Naphtali. All right. The cities in which they inhabited. Right. So remember Miror, Hazor. Remember we read about that was the king that ruled these other kings. So he was the head of all of the kingdoms. Okay. Joshua took him out. All right. Joshua took this kingdom out. He burnt this kingdom to the ground. Ijon, okay. Abel Beth Makkah. So Kadesh, right? So all of these were the kings that were taken out in this region. All right. So you see that this is East Manasseh. Okay. So this was the territory that they had. And according to prophecy, remember, Reuben, basically his portion was given up to the sons of Joseph. All right. So Manasseh received, you know, the double blessing, all right, of Reuben's portion. So that's why you see that they had East Manasseh, you got West Manasseh. Okay. So you see that these are all of the cities in which they inhabited. Then you see that this is the tribe of Gad. These are the cities in which they inhabited. These were their borders. All right. Then you see the tribe of Reuben. Okay, so these are the children of Ammon right here. So then you see this is the tribe of Reuben. Remember, we saw that this was a city that they took: Dibon, Kedemah, Jahaz, Medeba, Bizar, Heshbon, right? So this is Moab. So at one point, Moab extended to here, I believe, to Heshbon, and then Sihon ended up kicking them towards the south to where they were near this river. I forget the name of that river. Arnon, I believe it is. River Arnon. So there you go, see the Salt Sea. All right. Then you see there go Edom, right? Again to the south. Okay. So then you have here the tribe of Simon or Simeon. All right. So you see that these are the cities within the territory of Simeon. Remember, Simeon was basically inside of Judah, right? So this is all the territory of Judah. Judah had a very large portion, all right, to the south. Okay, so then you see that this is Benjamin right here. Jericho's in Benjamin, Gilgal's in Benjamin, Beth Halag is in Benjamin. Ramah is.
Question.
Yes.
I thought the not unless I'm in the wrong timeline. I thought the Benjamites didn't have land. Weren't they the priests?
No.
Or am I getting it wrong?
No, the tribe of Levi didn't have an inheritance.
Oh, I'm tripping. Okay, I don't know why I'm thinking. Okay, gotcha.
You good.
All right.
So the tribe of Levi were the ones who were told that they would not have an inheritance amongst their brethren, the children of Israel. All right. But Benjamin basically would be, he had land. He had land that was allotted to him. So this is the land that was allotted to him here, right? Going all the way to the coast, basically like going into the territory of Dan. Dan had a small portion. All right. Joppa was one of his cities. So then you see this is the territory of Ephraim right here, and that's West Manasseh. All right. So these are all of the territories. As you can see, Issachar, right? And then you see Dan to the north, right? When you get into the book of Judges, you'll find out that Dan also migrated to the north and took over a Zidonian city, all right, and called it Dan. Okay. So they basically had two locations, right, where they were located. Okay. So this was the land that was allotted to our fathers. The only tribe that did not have any type of land that was allotted to them was the Levites. But the Levites, they had suburbs, all right? They had suburbs that were given to them, okay? Suburbs. So as we go into the book of Joshua, we go back into the book of Joshua. Let's see. It shows you that the Levites were given the suburbs. We're going to hit chapter 21. All right. So it shows you here the 48 cities of the Levites. It says, then came near the heads of the fathers of the Levites unto Eleazar the priest, and unto Joshua the son of Nun, and unto the heads of the fathers of the tribes of the children of Israel. And they spake unto them at Shiloh in the land of Canaan, saying, the Lord commanded by the hand of Moses to give us cities to dwell in, with the suburbs thereof for our cattle. And the children of Israel gave unto the Levites out of their inheritance at the commandment of the Lord these cities and their suburbs. And the lot came out for the family of the Kohathites and the children of Aaron the priest, which were of the Levites, had by lot out of the tribe of Judah, and out of the tribe of Simeon, and out of the tribe of Benjamin, 13 cities. And the rest of the children of Kohath had by lot out of the families of the tribe of Ephraim, out of the tribe of Dan, and out of half the tribe of Manasseh, 10 cities. And the children of Gershon had by lot out of the families of the tribe of Issachar, out of the tribe of Asher, and out of the tribe of Naphtali, and out of the tribe of Manasseh in Bashan, 13 cities. So now this is where that prophecy comes in, where we go back to the book of Genesis chapter 49, right? Where he says that, I will divide them and scatter them in Israel, right? So basically you see that the tribe of Simeon, right? They basically had their territory in Judah, and you see that the tribe of Levi, right? They were basically scattered throughout Israel, and this is true as we're looking at it, right? So you see all of the families, right? They're basically given cities almost in every tribe. Okay, so they don't have land, right? But they're basically being given cities or suburbs to live in. All right. So it says, and the children of Gershom, I read that already. He says, verse 7, and the children of Merari by their families had out of the tribe of Reuben, and out of the tribe of Gad, and out of the tribe of Zebulun, 12 cities. And the children of Israel gave by lot unto the Levites these cities with their suburbs, as the Lord commanded by the hand of Moses. right? I believe you can go back to the book of Numbers, and you can read about those. You can also read about the cities as well, which the children of Aaron, being the families of the Kohathites, who were of the children of Levi, had for theirs was the first lot. Okay. Okay, so you see here it says they gave them out of the tribe of Judah and out of the tribe of Simeon these cities, which are here mentioned by name. Okay. And it says, and they gave them, I'm in verse 11, and they gave them the city of Arba, the father of Anak, which city is Hebron, in the hill country of Judah, with the suburbs thereof round about it. But the fields of the city and the villages thereof gave they to Caleb, the son of Jephunneh, for his possession. Thus they gave to the children of Aaron the priest Hebron with her suburbs to be the city of refuge for the slayer, and Libnah with her suburbs. All right. So those were the cities of refuge. Okay. And you see that that's where the children of Aaron pretty much resided, in Hebron. It says, and Jeterith with her suburbs, and Estimoa with her suburbs, and Holon with her suburbs, and Dibri with her suburbs, and Ain with her suburbs, and Jetta with her suburbs, and Beth-Shemesh with her suburbs, 9 cities out of those 2 tribes. And out of the tribe of Benjamin, Gibeon with her suburbs, Gaba with her suburbs, Anthola with her suburbs, and Almon with her suburbs, 4 cities. So remember, this is a key city too, because this is where the prophet Jeremiah comes out of. This was where his family resided. All right. Now it says, all the cities of the children of Aaron, the priests, were 13 cities with their suburbs. And the family of the the Kohath, the Levites, which remained of the children of Kohath, even they had the cities of their lot out of the tribe of Ephraim. For they gave them Shechem with her cities in Mount Ephraim to be a city of refuge for the slayer, and Gezer with her suburbs, and Kibzam with her suburbs, and Beth-horon with her suburbs, for the 4 cities. And out of the tribe of Dan, El-Telka with her cities, and Gibbethon with her her suburbs. It says, and Ajalon with her suburbs, Gatharim with her suburbs, 4 cities. And out of half the tribe of Manasseh, Tanakh with her suburbs, and Getharim with her suburbs, 2 cities. And all the cities were 10 with their suburbs for their families and for the children of the Kohathites that remain. So again, you can continue reading that. Just going to show you the cities that basically were allotted to the Levites. Though they did not have a land that was basically named after their forefather, the land of Levi. They didn't have that. All right. So they only had cities that were basically given to them as possessions, okay, to their families, to their children, so on and so forth. All right. So that was for, the Levites, because they had no inheritance that was given to them. All right, that was land. All right, a land mass basically named after, their forefather, their progenitor. Okay, as you can see here again, looking at the map, there's no land of Levi. All right, no land of Levi. It's not there. But you'll see something interesting, right? So during the time of the kings, the period of the kings, right? When Rehoboam basically had drove away the Jeroboam and the rest of the northern tribes, you'll see that Jeroboam ended up kicking out all of the Levites from the northern coast, the northern kingdom. All right, so all of the cities in which the Levites were here, from Asher, Naphtali, East Manasseh, Issachar, West Manasseh, from Ephraim to Gad. They were all kicked out, right? And they had to come down to reside in Judah, in Benjamin, and in Judah, right? So they all came down here. So just imagine a massive exodus of Levites, right, coming down to dwell in the land of Judah. So you can only imagine, how difficult that was. You know what I mean? That they had to facilitate all of these, all of these priests. They were basically kicked out of their homes. Their suburbs were taken from them. All right. And that there was nothing they could do about it. Okay. So, that was something that definitely had to be an adjustment, man, for, you know, for the inhabitants of Judah, during that time period, you know. And then as you go into Judges, you also see the same, you'll see why, as our fathers were settled into the land, um, you see that, they were still conquering, right? Or still taking, portions of land. But then after a while, they stopped. Okay. And like I said, we'll get into that, get into that soon as well. Let's see. Let's finish a little bit of this in Joshua. Let's see how old Joshua was when he died. So in the book of Joshua, chapter 24, right? Like I said, you can go back and read these chapters. It's good that you do. I'm just skimming through them. Joshua chapter 24, we'll start at verse 27. And it says, and Joshua said unto all the people, behold, this stone shall be a witness unto us, for it hath heard all the words of the Lord which he spake unto us. It shall be here for a witness unto you, lest ye deny your God. All right. I don't want to see what he's talking about. Okay, going back down. All right, so Joshua let the people depart, every man unto his inheritance. So this is after all the inheritance were basically divided. It says, and they buried him it's verse 29. And it came to pass after these things that Joshua, the son of Nun, the servant of the Lord, died, being 110 years old. So Joshua was 110 years old, right, when he died. Okay. 110 years old when he died. Let's see. How many years did he live? So he basically lived like 20 plus, like almost 20, 26, 27 years, you know what I mean, before he died. So so he being 110 years old, okay, him being 85 when they took the land, so he had about a good 20 years, 27 years. So then it says, and they buried him in the border of his inheritance in Timnath Serah, which is in Mount Ephraim. Right. So remember, Joshua was an Ephraimite. Okay, he was an Ephraimite. All right. So remember when Jacob had put his hand, when he took his hand from Manasseh and put it on Ephraim, right? And Joseph got mad. Joseph was angry because he said, what? Joseph was like, not so, father. The right of the firstborn goes to Manasseh. He's the oldest. And then Jacob was like, it, you know what I mean? But Ephraim has always, you know, held power in Israel, just like Judah has held, you know, basically had held power, you know, even amongst the northern tribes, man. Ephraim was that dominant tribe. All right. So on the north side of Gaash, and Israel served the Lord all the days of Joshua and all the days of the elders that outlived Joshua, and which had all known the works of the Lord that he had done for Israel. And the bones of Joseph, which the children of Israel brought up out of Egypt, buried they in Shechem, in a parcel of ground which Jacob brought for the sons of Hamor, the father of Shechem, for 100 pieces of silver. And it became the inheritance of the children of Joseph. And Eleazar the son of Aaron died, and they buried him in a hill that pertained to Phinehas his son, which was given him in Mount Ephraim. All right. So Ephraim was always, you know, like I said, it was always a tribe, man. So after the, you know, so like after the division, right, of Israel, Jeroboam was of the house of Ephraim. He was of the tribe of Ephraim. Okay. So then you'll see that, you know, there were other Ephraimite kings, you know, during that time too. So when you go and you read in the book of Isaiah, chapter 7, it says that, you know, Remaliah, which is, I believe, Remaliah, which is the father of Pekah, he was an Ephraimite. All right. He was an Ephraimite. So Ephraim has always been, you know, has always had that power, all right, that royal power. Okay. So so you know, we'll close out there. Are there any questions or any comments, any statements based upon what we read? If not, you know, we'll pray it out and we'll close out. Definitely thank everybody for, you know, for listening in. I know we started kind of late and stuff. So again, tomorrow class will resume 2:00. Yeah, class will resume at 2:00.
Right.
You know,
The only thing I was saying, Ak, was in the chat was just recognizing everything we reading is just a reminder and showing us how much the Most High loved us and he gave us land. I mean, he really had the heart to give us a land that we would live off and operate and learn and grow as, you know, his you know, his chosen people and serve him.
mm-hmm.
And it just when we're in these, you know, as a brother in these modern times, when I look back, I just think of all the iniquities that our people went through, our forefathers went through to cause us to lose it.
Yeah.
So that's the impression I get. I mean, everything that you read, I mean, the book of Joshua, I mean, you just skim through all of it, and it just has all of these accounts and directions and you know, examples and truth. So it's powerful. It's a lot, though. It's a lot, my brother.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I just want, and it's a precept I wanted to bring out too on just, you know, just about, you know, how Jerusalem or how Israel, you know, is that land. You know what I'm saying? That's the Lord's land. You know, that's the land, you know, that's his favorite land in which he gave to us. He gave to our fathers, you know.
Are you saying that is the land that the Israelis are occupying today?
The land in which the Israelis are occupying today, you know what I'm saying?
I got something quick to say about that. It was just on my mind.
Go ahead.
Do you remember how was that 45 families or 45 people that the Israelis was taking out was making leave. Israel.
Yeah.
Was it? And how many people just died?
I think I forgot how many died.
45.
That stampede.
No, I'm talking about, yes, 45 people died.
Oh, 45 people died at the stampede.
Yes.
Yeah, and they were trying to deport 60 Israelites.
Oh, well, when I was reading on the thing, it said 45. They were trying to, they was telling that they gave letters to leave.
45 families, I think. Yeah, because how it went, what the brother said in the interview, and Connor had posted it in WhatsApp, was that they the government got in touch with them and asked them, because they knew they had problems with citizenships. So the government said, okay, give us the names of all the people who don't have citizenship and we'll clear it up. And it was a trick. Instead of clearing it up, those people received letters saying you have 60 days to leave. That's what he said. If you go into WhatsApp, that post that kind of posted, and you watch, that's kind of how it went.
But
so what I'm
yeah, but I was just saying that it was a coincidence. It might be a coincidence, or it might be, 45 families, 45 people dead.
Yeah.
Going to this festival, going to this idolatry festival, but some person that's dead.
What, but y'all need to be specific. What are you talking about? Are you saying that the fake Jews, some fake Jews died or something? They were doing something. Can you explain? You got to be specific.
That's the festival that they were just talking about. They just the thing that they were just talking about the other day. They had a festival. Oh yeah, they had a festival. Usually it's 100 to 400,000 of those Jews go up there once a year and go. I don't know, some old rabbi body is buried up there in the mountains or something, and they go there to that festival and dance and I guess pray and worship. That body.
Yeah.
Wait, is that where they go to worship that big square rock?
No. We'll look at it right here. We have it. We'll
they had a festival. Yeah, it's a religious festival they have every year.
Okay, and so it's not a coincidence that 45 of the Jewish died, and it's 45 families of our own people that they're trying to.
I was just saying that's how I put it together.
Okay,
it just dawned on me that they had
Okay, because I didn't know about the stampede. I just knew about our people being kicked out.
Yeah, okay, 45 families, 45 people.
Okay, I'm with you now.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Now I understand. Okay, here we go. Israel religious festival crush kills 45. Oh man, wow. Ain't that something? If that's not the Most High's hand, I don't whose it is.
That's right. Hold on, I wanted to pull up a video of it so that we can so that we can see it. You know what I mean? The chaos mayhem. I was just loving it. I'm sorry. I know that sounds bad. I was feeling good about it.
Come on now, all praise to the Most High. Most High know what he's doing.
Festival overnight, more than worship, but instead disaster. A stampede at an Israeli religious festival overnight, more than 44 killed and at least 100 more injured. Police seem desperately trying to tear down metal barriers to make room for the rushing mob. A massive crowd sent in to a panic.
Look, all of them males too.
Helicopters raced to the holy site to help free those trapped.
All of a sudden we saw paramedics from Mada, whatever, running by like mid CPR on kids.
And this morning, as police investigate what set off the stampede, at least 36 critically wounded people are still waiting for help.
We went to the ground zero. The injuries start to came, and we started the first aid. Unfortunately, at the end, we have 44 deaths.
Bad English.
Rescue efforts delayed by the festival's remote location at the base of Mount Meron. There is now an investigation underway. Prime Minister Netanyahu visited the site this morning and he confirmed tragically that children are among the dead. Sunday will be a national day of mourning.
Sunday is National Day of Mourning.
Now, can we go to the video about our people being kicked out?
I got you, my brother. Don't trip.
Okay. I just want to see the.
At a religious festival.
This is incredible.
Hold on. Have to say leave. Tripping.
Well, it is 45. Confirmed. Okay. It's 45. Come on now. Oh my goodness. Whoa.
You better see the signs. You better see the signs.
The Most High ain't playing.
Yo, if if that don't tell you that we the chosen children, I don't know what will. Boy.
What?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get you guys off the, what you were saying, but that's just what reminded me of when you was talking about, God dividing his land, and when you said Israel. Hello? I can't. Somebody's talking. I can't hear him.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I didn't hear anybody for a while. I didn't know what was going on, but I was just saying, when you start talking about Israel, and then when Malik, I'm sorry, Malik was saying, hey, yeah, Malik was saying, you talking about Israel, and that came to my mind when y'all said that. I wasn't trying to get you guys off of, I'm sorry, but that's what, man.
Good, sis. That's still a powerful point, man, to point out. You know what I'm saying? That's still a powerful point to point out. He was like, because you look at the whole situation of them literally doing the whole deportation thing, man, was crooked anyway. Like they were showing, like
right.
My had brought out. They said, "Oh, we'll help you out. Just give us a list of the people who still need, you know what I'm saying, the who haven't still residency."
And it just it just tripped me out though. It was 45 people out of 100,000 people that was there. 45 people.
And now you see, like, look, he's saying that, and those people, they're not trying to help them. They're not trying to move, so they're going to have to leave. They're going to have to leave.
Right. So I guess God was like, so I'm gonna go ahead and take some 45 of y'all people.
Exactly. They're gonna have to leave, and the Most High understands that they have to leave.
Mm-hmm.
This is
they don't have a
biblical
choice.
prophecy. I just suggest that they go to someplace like Ghana, somewhere in Africa, where they can regroup and settle and continue following the laws, statutes, and commandments.
Yep.
See what I'm
saying? Those 45 people, some of them was American too.
They were. I just don't think they should come here.
No, some of them were from here. Some of them was American, Jewish American.
Oh, you mean recently from here?
No, the ones that, the ones they went there. They went out there for their festival. They were Jewish Americans.
Oh,
that
the
went
Jewish.
Out there.
Oh, the white. Oh, you talking about the white Jewish? Oh, really? Yeah, that's right. They go there every year for that. That's right.
And some of them that got killed was from here, and I'm sure they was from other parts of the world too.
Yeah, right. It was probably mixed. Yeah.
That's what they get anyway, and still a hundred of them people still got injured anyway.
Mm-hmm.
That's why
I was just looking at the numbers, 45 and 45. I'm like, wow.
I'm still smiling. But I mean, we know.
Okay, I'm sorry, guys. I know it's getting late. It just caught my attention.
No, we needed to go over that. You got us in the right direction. Don't apologize no more.
We like. I mean, we looking at it, man. It's like, all right, they trying to deport. You know what I'm saying? So some getting ready to transpire, boy. They look what happened. Look what happened. Look what transpired.
Yep.
That's why the Most High said, man, let's go to the book of Ezekiel. I like this in Ezekiel too. I mean, not Ezekiel, the book of Deuteronomy. You know what I'm saying? When injustice comes in, man, should the Most High he gonna make sure justice is served, right? So so it says here, right? So this is dealing with the law of the witnesses, right?
Deuteronomy what?
Deuteronomy what?
Deuteronomy chapter 19.
Okay.
And they're going to ignore this. What they do is they ignore the and call it a coincidence.
Yeah, they can call it a coincidence if they want to. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's just their way of blaspheming the Most High anyway.
Exactly. That's what they do.
You're the creator of glory, and you're not trying to acknowledge his people, but you're trying to put them back out. You know what I mean? And then as I was listening to the rest of the video and stuff, man, shoot, I mean, the brother, he was giving like, brief history on it of them being there. How a lot of them had they were there because of the law of the return, right? So then they was never trying to give them citizenship anyway. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So a lot of them, yeah. Yeah, so of course they still had to follow and go by their rules and stuff like that. Apply their military and all of that. But even the beta Israelites, the Ethiopians are going through the same thing.
Yeah.
Over there.
But you know what would be awesome if that happened to them and these guys end up staying in Israel.
Mm-hmm.
God make it where they end up staying in Israel anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be so awesome.
That would be
so awesome.
It was his will for them. It's their will for him to stay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm gonna read this real quick. So I'm gonna read now here where it says, Deuteronomy chapter 19 and verse 15. So as it says, one witness shall not rise up against a man for any iniquity or for any sin, in any sin that he sinneth. At the mouth of 2 witnesses or the mouth of 3 witnesses shall the matter be established. If a false witness rise up against a man to testify against him that which is wrong, then both men between whom the controversy is shall stand before the Lord, before the priest, and before the judges, which shall be in those days. And the judges shall make diligent inquisition, and behold, if the witness be found a false witness, and testify falsely against his brother, then shall he do unto him as he thought to have done unto his brother. So shalt thou put away evil from among you. Right? So, it just goes to show you, man, what they thinking about doing by removing these families, man, from their home. Remember, a lot of them said they were born there. There their whole life. You know what I mean? Now we got to leave. You see what I'm saying? So you tend to do this, and then so the Most High, like, yo, he made sure, man, that he made a display.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. How does it a problem with citizenship if they were born there.
Mhm.
That corruption is coming out of it.
That means they're still a full citizen. Yeah, because they are
Yeah.
born.
Yeah.
But you know, just like I was saying, you know, just like I was telling like, wow, man, shoot. I'm like, all they did was just trade one oppressor for another. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not free. You still have an oppressor over you. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
you know, they still calling you nigger out there. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
It ain't
Right.
no different. You know, you just left Babylon and you went over there to the homeland. They not trying to give you
Right.
this.
Where they still oppressed. And
Yeah.
then you know they got some of the black Hebrews that's over there that they can't go to go to worship. What is that? It's a park that they make them pay to go to worship. But they supposed to be free. They said that's for everybody can go and worship. No, but when the black ones want to go there and worship, there's a problem.
Right.
So they going through that right now.
Okay.
The black Hebrews that lives there, that went out there, is going. They not letting them go to that place to worship for free.
It shows you it, but that shows you they know who the hell we are.
Mm-hmm.
They know.
But you realize there's a lot of strict restrictions in Israel now to where you got to get that vaccine. And that's why they're deporting people too, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And with everything that's happening, you ain't vaccinated in certain areas, like a natural disaster that just happened, where I can't remember where it was, but this one Pacific island where there was a volcano eruption.
One specific island.
And the people who weren't vaccinated, they would not take them off that island. They left them there.
So when the volcano erupted on the island, you mean to tell me that they left the people who were unvaccinated on the island and just took the people who were vaccinated?
Exactly.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
And that's why in Israel you have to have a passport proving that you've been vaccinated in order to go to the movies, in order to go to certain stores, in order to just go and do what you normally do.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You can't do nothing.
Yeah.
They want you in them nanobots.
Israel without a passport.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's all gonna come down to it's all gonna come to a boiling point. You know what I mean?
But that's the main reason why they're starting to push those people who are not legally residents there out, so they'll have a harder time getting back in without being vaccinated.
Mm-hmm. So
yeah, but you know what? Before this was happening with the black Hebrews over there way before this. They've been doing this to them for years, though. Are you talking about in Israel?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, what I was talking about was these the brothers that was there. They've been doing this to them for years. This was before the COVID.
No, I know. There's videos.
Oh, okay.
There's videos on YouTube about these Amalekites spitting on our people and hitting them beside them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Being rude and nasty to them.
Yeah, but what she's trying
But
what she's trying to say is that, you know, if they deport them and they want to come back, you know, they're gonna have to get the vaccine or have their passport or whatever the case may be.
Right.
Vaccine, and that deals, you know, that's almost for anybody that goes there. So if you there, you know, if you there, then they can pick you out if you're not trying to get that vaccine. You know,
right.
They no different than the beast here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Pushing the agenda. You know, so.
The start was when they started pushing it for education, and that was the starting point when they said that your kids can't go to school without being safe.
Yeah.
And now, because people are flying or working flying, they were testing the waters there just to see how they would do this testing.
Yeah. So they can test the water all they want. I ain't getting it. You know what I'm saying?
That's what we're talking about.
Test it all.
I'm gonna find somebody with a fake. I'm gonna find somebody that got those cards out. Get them cards.
Go ahead. Hey, You can get them where you know get them on the black market. Hey,
Right.
you know, so be it.
That's what I'm talking about.
They ain't touching that stuff.
You know, my sister's been talking about making fake immunization records for a long time for these kids and stuff.
Yeah, man. I think that's
Yeah.
it's an interesting history anyway, man. How our people,
Yeah.
you know, how our people in the late 60s or 70s went over there, like right over to the land, man.
Yeah, it was a powerful
You
movie.
know?
You know, Stevie Wonder made the trip up there to sing when they were up there.
But I mean, been Israel, yeah, they, you know, he did the damn thing, you know.
And they're all vegan.
Mm-hmm.
They're vegan Israelites, but like they don't really keep. I think they're only like Torah or something like that because their women still wear pants, but they know the Hebrew.
You know, I believe they have messianic. They're messianic too. You know, they're messianic. You know, but I mean, I mean, the brothers that I've talked to from there, man, some of they still under the illusion of
Christianity.
you know, you know that, you know that they've established the kingdom of heaven and all that other stuff.
Oh, in Israel,
You
so
know,
it's
I'm
other.
like, you like how you establish the kingdom of heaven and you still being oppressed. You still being yeah. You just got somebody, man, that's
Running your country.
yeah, that's running your country, calling you a nigger. They're still calling you a nigger. Get out of here. They have
How
songs.
they call you a nigga in Africa?
You know what I mean?
Still, I'm just saying. They tell
Yeah.
everybody to go to Africa, but they still call them niggas there.
Yeah. And then you got a massive amount of Chinese man going into Africa, man.
You do,
know what I'm
but
saying?
also even before the Chinese got there, like in the country of Nigeria, I chat with brothers from there all the time.
Mm-hmm.
The Nigerian police are very, very cruel to African citizens, and those there are Africans just like here in America who know who the children of Israel are. They know who the Negroes are who are there, and they're the ones who can grow hair. So you can't grow a full head of hair in Nigeria or even in Ghana. The police will, if you don't have a proper haircut, the Nigerian police will pull you aside. They have razors on them. They will cut your hair.
Wow.
Them brothers, they're telling me, said we can't grow our hair here. If we do, they label us. They label us if we grow our hair full head.
No, I don't see nobody dreaded or you know what I'm saying.
No. No dreads. That's what these brothers are telling me. And they want it too, but they can't. And if they grow it too, you know, they have to hide out a little bit.
Right. That is crazy. They said, just imagine, police officer like, come here. Let me grab him.
Yeah, because them Africans can't grow it. Africans can't grow facial hair. They can't grow no full head of hair like that. No thick, bushy, beautiful, nappy Negro hair. They don't have it. So when they see the ones that are Negroes, just the same way over here, how we're mistreated, how we're disrespected, they're over there too. Plenty of Negroes in Africa, y'all.
Yep. You got some Hebrews that believe that it ain't no more Israelites over there. You know what I mean? I promise you they believe that. Some of them can't believe that wholeheartedly. Now we all over here. No, we not. We still over there.
No, it's plenty over there.
So yeah, man, that's real. But I this history, man, is just very fascinating too. Like I said, how they went over there, man, in the land, in the midst of Israel, the Israelis, and and demanded that they give them their land. You know what I mean? That's powerful, man. That's powerful. But I mean, people say what they want. People say what they want. How they got there, how they got over there. But hey, you don't see none, no chump over here doing it. And we talking about brothers that's operating in the millions of dollars. You see what, if y'all ever seen the video, I always see when they went over there, right, to Israel, right, and they started teaching, them Israelis, they shut their ass down. with a quickness. They shut them down with a quickness when they went over there.
When was this? I didn't see it. Is this when they were supposed to went to Ghana?
No. This was when they went to Israel. They went to Israel.
Oh, how many years ago is that? So I can look it up.
I think this had to be at least about 2 or 3 years ago. This is when they started like really moving before they really started going back to Africa, going into Africa. I mean, they went into Africa the first time, and then they they taught, and then they moved on to, and they have moved on to Israel, and they was out there, man, and they tried to set up shop in the street, and you see the Israeli soldiers walking up on them with them guns. It was like nope.
They didn't even get to teach us.
Not here. Nope, not here.
Yeah, but in Israel, every single person that's there, man or woman, they have to serve in the military.
Mm-hmm.
When they at the age of I think it's either 16 or 17 or something like that, they have to serve. They have to do it at least 2 years.
Yeah, I guess. I'm like, yeah, man, that's something else. You gotta in order for in order to be a citizen, you gotta join the military. Yeah, you gotta join the military. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that goes to show you, man. Shoot.
They believe everybody has to pull their weight and help the country.
Yeah, you want to live here, you gotta fight. You gotta fight here. You know what I mean? You gotta fight here. But shit, it wouldn't matter no way. You still got America backing you up anyway, man. You got the most powerful army in the world backing you up. You know what I mean? You sit there, you look at Iran, you got your chest out at Iran, like, come on, what's up? What's happening? Oh, you see that big old eagle behind me, huh? Yeah, what? Now what? You know what I mean? I want y'all to make sure y'all put a sanction on them. Make sure, because they do have weapons of mass destruction. We need to go in there. We need to shut that down. All of that, man. So
the war between Iran, Israel, and Iraq is only because Iran and Iraq know that they're not the original inhabitants. And they've been fighting over that land ever since we left.
Everybody's fought over that land, man. From the Crusades, the Black Kings of the Crusades, all of that.
Even the president, anyway, what was his name?
Anyway,
the Palestine president.
Anyway, so y'all, we'll close out. We'll close out, man. We'll say our prayers. We'll be back on here around 2:00. To have our closing Sabbath class. I also have some announcements for tomorrow as well regarding our next upcoming feast and stuff like that. So everybody be abreast, okay? And then tomorrow we'll have our announcements and stuff, so everybody knows what's going on and stuff. So I know it's kind of late right now, but yeah, tomorrow, we'll like I said, we'll have our announcements then. You know what I mean? So we can start preparing. Because I know for sure we have Memorial Assignment coming up, and then of course we have Pentecost coming up as well. So we're going to discuss that, and we're gonna have like a little general assembly soon. I just gotta plan. I gotta put a date out there, and then that's where we can also talk more business. You know what I mean? Not on Shabbat.
Okay. Right.
We're gonna rest our mind from the business of the world, and we're just gonna enjoy these scriptures we just meditated on. You know what I mean? And just rest. All right.
All praises.
So King Malik, man, if you do us the honor, man, just lead us in the closing prayer.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Okay. Let us rise and face the east. Towards our homeland, towards our peace, and give praise to the Most High Yahweh. Join with me. Most High Yahweh, we praise you. We thank you. We bring glory and honor to your name. We thank you for this Sabbath, for the word, for our history, Most High, for this lesson brought forth, and the reminders of the land that you issued out to our forefathers for our people. And we ask for the forgiveness of the iniquities of our forefathers, Most High, and how they went astray. And we are encouraged that here in this 2021, in these modern times, that we'll return back to you, Most High. We give you our full temple, Most High, and our spirit as we reconnect with our history, Most High, and we follow these laws. We get the understandings of the laws. We get them into our spirit. We follow the commandments, Most High, and we love and encourage each other, Most High. We thank you. We praise you for that experience, Most High. We love you 100%, and we place our full trust in you, Most High. We ask, Most High, that you would continue to keep anything that would draw us away from you, that would be not of you, out of our homes, out of our lives, out of our people's presence, Most High. As we walk through the valleys of the shadows of death each and every day, Most High, amongst the coronavirus, amongst the politics, amongst the killings, amongst the heartaches of our people, Most High, we thank you that you're guiding us and you're holding us through it, Most High. Hallelujah, Most High. We proclaim it, Most High. Thank you for this beautiful, beautiful, awesome Sabbath and this lesson that we had this evening throughout the book of Joshua. We praise you. We praise you, Most High. I pray this in the name of the Most High, Yahweh, and his son, Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. Hallelujah, hallelujah, and amen.
All right, family. I will see you guys tomorrow. All right. And you guys get some rest, okay?
Okay, good night.
All
Shalom.
praises. Shalom, y'all.
Shalom.
Shalom.